Hey everybody, it is Des and Karina for Sensible Sundays. Des, I'm going to go
Hey,
ahead and shoot it over to you so you can get started.
hi. So it's Des with DI Real Estate and Staging, Sensible Sundays. Karina with War Cry Consulting Solutions,
Yep.
correct? Um, and today, what we want to talk about, what we want to discuss is questions you should ask a real estate broker agent before you hire them. A lot of times I'll come across people that are interested in purchasing a home, and they'll reach out to me and they'll contact me, or they'll be iffy on the process, not really know where to go, how to start. And they've spoken to other realtors, and I've asked them, well, have you interviewed your realtor? And they say, interview? No. So yeah, well, you should definitely interview your realtor before you hire them. And do you know what questions would be good questions to ask? No, I don't. So, over the years, I have put together, first it was 10, then it jumped to 14, then it jumped to 20. I'm probably at 20 about now. But just questions that you should ask a realtor before you hire them. So that's what we're going to discuss this evening.
Awesome.
Yeah, now I'm gonna try to keep it at 10 so that it's not a long, drawn out session tonight. And if you want all the questions, just send me a message or just leave your information in the comments and just let me know that you want to reach out to me, and I'll get those to you. Okay, so but the number one, let me see, I have them written down here on my piece of paper. Um, I'm gonna try to pick out the top 10, I would say.
Well, before you
So,
start, Des, I do want to point out, this is a really good segment for first-time home buyers
right,
and even actually anybody that's looking to purchase a home, because we often think of realtors choosing us.
right.
But we have to realize that it really goes both ways,
Mm-hmm.
because you're choosing them and they're choosing you. You have to make sure you're a right fit for one another. So really dig in, guys, with these questions that Des has put together, frequently asked questions by Des Gerald, because you're not going to get this type of information. This is almost like, and I'm not even going to say almost like, this is insider information.
Right.
It's almost like you're in the back office learning some stuff.
That's right.
So really, take notes on this. And as Des said, you know, message her. She's got a ton of other questions that she's sends out to folks. So make sure you've got a pen, a notepad, your recording device, something. Hit replay, and really get this information, guys. All right, Des.
And and then listening to these questions, they might come up with questions of their own.
Exactly.
Because like I said, I started off with 10 and now I'm up to 20.
Right. Right.
But so the first question that I would say is important to know is, how long have you been a real estate agent?
Mm-hmm.
You want to know if they are a real estate, well, here in North Carolina, you can be a provisional broker, you could be a full broker, you could be a broker in charge. Um, and that's probably not typically how it is nationally, but here in North Carolina, that's what you are: provisional, full broker, or you could be a broker in charge. So you want to find out what role exactly do they play. The other question that you want to know is, why did you become a real estate broker? Why are you even in the real estate industry? To me, that's important, because you want to know what their intentions are behind even being in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this something that they're really passionate about, or is this something where they're just trying to get by and try to make a lot of money because they think, oh, in real estate you make a whole bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
So just finding out, getting to the heart of who they are and why they're in the industry. Another question is you probably want to find out, hey, if I choose you as a realtor or a real estate broker, um, why should I work with you?
Mm-hmm.
Give me some good reasons on why I should work with you. Um, Another one would be, what do you think that you can bring to the table that is better than other real estate brokers? Definitely you want to know that, because you choose one realtor, you might be missing out on something else. You want to hear these answers, so that you can make a really good informed decision,
Mm-hmm.
feel comfortable with who you're working with. Even in asking the questions, you really get a good sense of a person's personality, and if you're going to get along with them. Because getting
Gotcha.
along, you guys are going to be along for a ride, and it's going
Mm-hmm.
to be a roller coaster ride, for several months,
Mm-hmm.
unless you're like just trying to find something quick and you're just in and out.
I
Um,
want to, can we kind of park there for a second? I think
okay,
that's really key.
okay,
And I immediately thought about the very first house that I purchased was in Charlotte, North Carolina.
okay,
And the realtor that I used was someone they were recommended to me.
okay,
And they tried to discourage me from the houses that I actually wanted. They tried to discourage me. They at that time, and keep in mind this was 16, 17 years ago,
hmm, hmm,
they did not know my financial situation, but they assumed
okay,
that I could not afford any of it. And so they
okay.
tried to discourage me from, and I actually ended up buying the house.
Is this someone that you were working with, or you were thinking about working with? Is this
Eh,
someone that you actually had an agreement with, that,
Yes,
okay, this is my agent that's representing me,
yes. And it got to
and
the
they didn't know your financial situation?
Yes, it got to the
Oh
point
no!
where when we ended up going to closing, I was so livid with their lack of participation. I wanted I wanted them to not be compensated.
Wow. I've
That's
heard
how,
I've heard horror stories. I really
yeah,
have.
yeah,
That's why I'm trying to take to this platform, because there really are some really great realtors out there, you
yeah,
guys. I mean, there's some really crazy ones, and
yeah,
I have experienced some interesting things over the years. Okay, but there's some great ones. I mean, I have so many really good, great realtor peers. I was with Keller Williams for a while. Keller Williams is still like family to me. Agents outside of Keller Williams. I
yeah.
mean, you meet agents along the way, and there are some really good agents that care. But a lot of times you do not get all the information that you need and all the good meat, to make a really good decision and choice. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do and help out with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it makes a huge difference when you have a set of questions like this where you can
Right.
identify this person that you're literally going to be, up in the trenches with.
That's
I could
right.
say that the last two houses that I've purchased, I used different realtors,
Hmm.
but they were phenomenal in their own right. I
Okay.
mean, we still have a relationship outside of, now, even now.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And
And
so,
that's how it should be.
yeah, absolutely.
For
So,
real.
guys, again, I am taking notes. I just want you guys to see I am taking notes because you cannot go wrong with this.
No,
Okay,
not at all.
Diz.
Okay, so let me see. I'm trying to pick out the good ones here. Um, oh, what are some mistakes that you think people make when buying their first home? You definitely want to know if they know the answer to that. Because if they do, that means that you have a really good agent that's going to be looking out for you and making sure you're not going through any pitfalls along the way throughout the process.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think that helps you identify, or helps you to know that they can identify when you're about to hit that curve.
that's right. Yep.
That's really good information, Des. That's really good, because it's just like with a parent with a child. As a parent, even though you may not have been a parent before, there's just some innate things that this kid is getting ready to hit a curve and they need to not go in that direction.
That's right.
And so as a realtor, you want them to be knowledgeable enough to know you're about to hit that curve.
Yep.
So that's really good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Um, are you primarily a buyer's agent or a seller's agent? And that's important because you want to know, okay, whether or not if I'm selling a house, working with someone like, hey, this is what they do. They're a seller's agent, you know, they know their stuff. Just same thing as buyer's agent, with me and just my trajectory throughout my real estate career. I actually was dominantly a buyer's agent. I just started to transition over into a seller's agent probably just 2-3 years ago, and I've been in the industry for a while. So um, I would say I'm still primarily a buyer's agent just because I have so many years of just being that. But I'm now to the point where I would say it's equally distributed. It's about the same amount of buyers, same amount of sellers. And it's interesting because now that I have added working with investors onto it, they're actually buyers and sellers. So,
Okay.
because I have to help them find a house to acquire, and then they flip it, and then I help them, with the remodel, design, staging, and then put it back on the market, which is
Mm-hmm.
now they're the seller. So, like I said, it's really half and half,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much half and half now. Um, the next question, I would say, how many questions did I?
So I've got down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's about 6 or 7, because I'm kind of writing them as paragraphs.
Okay, so let's see. Um, what other professionals do you suggest we work with, and what are their credentials? Uh, that's good to know because you want, when you're closing on a property, or you go into contract. Let me say that when you go into contract, you're going to be dealing with third-party vendors like a home inspector, um, insurance company. You got to get your homeowner's insurance, um, attorney, and then of course your lender, moi.
Yeah.
uh, and so you want to make sure that if you're not choosing these third-party vendors and you're getting a referral from your agent, that they are referring you to some great experienced people in those fields. Okay, so that's why that question is important, and that's something that you should definitely find out up front, like who are these people that you work with, who are some of your home inspectors. A lot of buyers don't even think to find all that information up front, because now you're not just interviewing the realtor, but guess what, you could interview part of their team, like who their team is,
Mm-hmm.
like their third party vendors. You could now look into the home inspector that they said they would refer,
Mm-hmm.
and the lender that they said they will, so that is definitely a
Yeah.
good thing to do. As if you can prepare yourself as much as you can up front on the process, it's just gonna be such a much smoother ride. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, it is a roller coaster
Yeah.
ride,
Yeah.
and it is really like one of those really, really
Yeah.
scary roller coasters if you are dealing with people that do not have an experience, and if they're not looking out for your best,
Right.
you know, your best interest. So the other question, um, do you have any real estate designations, awards, certifications? And if yes, what are they? So you have, for instance, I have an ASP designation. I also have an IAHSP designation and a CRMS. CRMS is a Certified Military Residential Specialist, and ASP stands for Accredited Staging Professional, and IAHSP stands for International Association of Home Staging Professionals, which is a chapter here in Charlotte. And I actually serve on the board. It's a great, great organization of staging professionals.
Okay.
So you want to find out that because you want to see what are your whoever you're interviewing, what's
Mhm.
their expertise, what are their areas of focus, and see how that coincides with you.
Gotcha.
There's buyer specialists, there's designations that are just buyer specialists, that are seller specialists. There's a plethora of designations out there, and a lot of people don't know about that as well.
Hmm.
Google is your friend. I always say Google
Yeah.
is your friend. Google has a lot of information,
Hmm.
and you could just Google the real estate industry designations to see what comes up,
Yeah.
and that can help you. Okay, so we're probably at 9 right
Yeah.
now, right? Okay, I have some other good ones, but I want to um
And I have some follow-up questions when you're done.
okay, all right. This is definitely a top question to ask. Can you provide me with references or testimonials from past clients? You definitely want to ask that because I mean, any realtor should be able to just give that away. Or they probably even have videos. I have a few video testimonials from clients, written testimonials, reviews. That's important, especially
Hmm.
nowadays where that's readily available through social media. So that's definitely something you should ask and look for. Um, let's see. I'm gonna do a couple more. I'll do a couple more.
Okay.
I'll do what's what's your schedule and your availability? You want to ask that because I don't have anything against anyone that is a part-time realtor, because sometimes, when people are driven and they are going after their dreams and their passions, and they happen to be stuck into a 9 to 5 job, they they have no other choice but to work part-time, but they probably are a really good driven agent and can get the job done. But the only thing is they don't have the flexibility. And depending on whatever your situation is, like if you have time where your lease isn't ending in 2 3 months and you have to find something and you have to be out here looking all the time, then maybe that part-time agent isn't a good fit for you.
Hmm.
um, but if you're not, if you have time and you found this agent and they're just awesome, it's just that they're part-time, I say, hey, work with them, give them a chance. um, but that's my stance on that. But that's a good question to ask, given whatever your situation is on how
Hmm.
soon that you have to find a house. Um, let's see. One more, I would say, what is one more good question? How will you keep in contact with me? That is so important, which boils over to how are we going to communicate with each other, really? And you should be letting a realtor know how you like to communicate. Do you prefer to communicate by phone? Do you prefer to communicate through text, email? Um, this also opens up the question to, okay, what kind of technology do you use to operate your business, or software do you use to operate your business? For instance, I have a CRM, which um, gives me reminders, updates on when to reach out to my clients based off of the last conversation we had. I have a mobile app. I have two mobile apps that I share with my clients to help them with, the process of looking for a home. Um, I have software where my seller clients could see how many views that they're getting on their listings. So just finding out, you know, pretty much the means and the ways that you're going to be
Gotcha.
working
Yeah.
and operating with that particular realtor.
Gotcha.
And so I'm not going to give away all my other questions because we're
Right.
here all night. But those, I would say, are the top questions for right now.
Okay. So I want to kind of just dig into maybe one or two
Okay.
that I think would be questions, additional questions for you. So
Okay.
I think the first question you were talking about, an individual would need to ask if the agent is a provisional agent or a broker or broker in charge. I think it are the three that you said.
Right. Yes.
So what would be the difference in the three of those? So in normal everyday first time home buyer world, I'm coming in and I'm going to say, okay, are you a real estate agent? Because to us, real estate agent is just real estate agent. There's no difference at
Right.
all.
Right.
So can you explain to us what the difference in the three are?
So a provisional broker is pretty much a new agent. I would say we're real estate agents, but there's types of agents.
Okay.
I guess is the best way to explain it. But provisional broker is pretty much a new broker, and in North Carolina, they changed the rules or the law a few years back to where you had to work under a broker, a full broker, before you could be out of the provisional status. And
Okay.
you have to take post licensing classes and just be under a broker for a certain period of time.
So
Then,
if you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you can.
So if you are something other than a provisional broker, which is basically an agent that does not have tenure,
Right.
then you're working with somebody that has some experience under their belt, pretty much is what you're saying.
Correct.
And some school knowledge.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So then you have the last two brokers. What were those types?
Broker in charge. Broker in charge just means you're like the head broker.
Okay.
We're over the brokers in the firm.
Gotcha.
And then full broker is your full broker. You're
Okay.
not on provisional status. You can operate, to the full extent.
Okay. So
And
then the
that's
full
just
broker is I don't have to have somebody watching over me.
right.
I can.
Even though your broker in charge, your BIC, which they call BIC, short for broker in charge, they are watching over you. That's their role. And typically, like if you're at a big firm, you're gonna have a broker in charge.
Okay.
But it's the broker in charge is more eyes on, hands on than the provisional broker.
So with the full broker, they have to have a broker in charge?
Yes.
Okay. Because this kind of lays out the dynamics of if I'm not satisfied with this broker, with this agent, I have some means of, going up the ladder, so to speak.
Yep.
Okay. So that
And in
I think,
my case, I'm my own broker. Like I'm a full broker, but
okay.
I'm also my broker in charge because
Gotcha.
I have my own firm. And in that case, I'm gonna tell on myself. I
Yeah.
don't care. I mean, I try to do the best that I can, so I don't care about telling on myself. If you feel like I'm acting up and I'm not doing what I need to do, you call the real estate commission.
Right. Right. And I
So
think
the real
this,
estate commission is my brokerage.
yeah. And I think this is really good information to have, because if you don't know you have that recourse, and not to
Hmm.
say that you're just gonna, call somebody superior,
Right.
all willy-nilly, but in the case of the first house that I purchased, had I known, because I
Uh-huh.
didn't really understand any of this at that time. I understand it now, but at that time, because I was new purchasing homes, even though I had been in the mortgage business for years, I
Uh-huh.
didn't fully understand these steps as far as the realtors were concerned. So I did not know at that time that I actually had somebody that I
Hmm.
could reach out to and say, listen, I need somebody to talk to me about this, because you don't want to get out there and feel like, because I think one of the misconceptions with real estate agents is that they are their own boss.
Mm.
And so, you just pretty much take
And
what,
it's true in a way. It's true in a
yeah,
way because we're 1099, like we're
right.
self-employed, but there's always someone to answer to.
Yeah. And so I think, if you come across a situation where a realtor is just, not doing the things that they have committed to you for, now you have this understanding that, you know, you have some kind of steps that you can take.
Correct.
And so I think that was important. Um, and then I wrote all of this stuff down. Um, So you talked about asking an agent, are they primarily a buyer's agent or
Yes.
primarily a seller's agent? So I'm
Right.
trying to think of the questions that I would have if I didn't know anything about any of this. For instance, my daughter is 22. She was
Mhm.
here over here today, and our goal has always been by 24, she's going to be purchasing her first home. So she's
Okay.
already at that stage where she's thinking of this, where
Okay.
she wants to live, which I might be shooting her your way, because she's thinking about moving to Charlotte.
Hey, I'm your girl.
So,
I'm here.
or moving back to Charlotte, because we're from Charlotte. But,
Okay.
that those are the questions that I know she would have. Well, because if you say, ask them, are they primarily a buyer's agent or a seller's agent?
Uh-huh.
Well, what's the difference? Why would I want to know that? Why, if they're a buyer's agent or a seller's agent, but they're for whatever reason my agent and I'm
Uh-huh.
buying, what difference does that make?
Well, a buyer's agent. So if you're buying, more than likely you're going to want to work with a buyer's agent because that is their specialty. So the things that you would get from a buyer's agent would probably more um, they would take more special attention to that area. So more than likely they'll have a lot of information about home buyer programs, um, the different loans that you could use to get into a house. They'll have different relationship with different builders, on-site agents. Um, Whereas a seller's agent, they don't really have to focus on that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They focus more on marketing a property, getting that property out there and getting it to um, in the hands of buyers agents, because buyers agents are the ones that's really bringing the buyers.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's funny because I have some clients that say, oh, yeah, well, I want to list my house. I'm going to talk to a seller's agent, and I'm going to list with one of the top sellers agents out here, blah 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 blah. But when you really actually think about it, and I'm not taking away from listing agents at all, or sellers agents, but when you think about it, if buyers agents would really make great sellers agents as
Mm-hmm.
well. Because if you're a buyer's agent and that's your focus, you always have this pool and this pipeline of buyers. So at the same time, yeah, you want to be with a top listing agent, but hey, don't rule out a buyer's agent that
Right.
might want to list your property, because they might have a buyer right there in their pipeline that
Exactly.
can get your house sold quick. So, it's just something to think about.
That's good though. That's actually that's almost like inside trading.
Yeah.
That's a good tip. And I
Yeah.
don't think, I know for myself, I probably would not have thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as if I were a new homeowner, that definitely would not cross my mind that, if I'm actually new to selling my home, I
Mm-hmm.
probably would not consider, a buyer's agent because, like you said, they're a buyer's agent. So, why would I go to them?
Right.
But yeah, you're right. They may have a pool of buyers
The
that,
ultimate goal is to get the house sold.
right, right. That's actually really good. So I think these were some really good questions and then follow-up questions. I'm just going to take a look at to see if there's anything else. Yeah, I think those were the main ones that I had as follow-up questions that I just wanted to kind of pull out.
Okay.
Because it was really good information. And like I said, guys, I took notes. I don't know about you guys, but when you get free game, you better take it.
That's right. That is right.
And as good as friends as Des and I are, I don't take things lightly. So, her time is money.
That's
So
right.
if she's on here dropping free game, free gems, I got notes.
Listen, my goal is to make people so educated that it's no longer a stress and a hassle
Yep.
when you're going through this process.
Yeah.
Because it does not have to be. It doesn't. But I just find that throughout just life and in my career, that people just aren't really great communicators.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have effective, clear communication, you will fail every time.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are afraid to speak up and ask questions. And, I don't know why. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why that fear is there. And I pray to God that that
Mm-hmm.
fear in the atmosphere gets removed,
Mm-hmm.
because there's nothing to fear but fear itself.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
all human. Like, we're
Yeah.
all human. Like, ask your questions, honey.
Right. Right.
Honey, ask your questions. It's
Right.
okay. No, nobody should get offended. You know, um, that's what I'm trying to do, guys. So just
And it makes me think about, I posted recently um this statement because I believe this is really truly in the vein of what you're saying right now. And the post was, and I had seen it somewhere else, so it's not my original post, but it was saying that it's okay, it's okay. You made decisions based on the information that you had then.
at the time.
But then I added, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
However, this time around, get more information in order to make better decisions.
There you go. There you
And so I
go.
think that is key. Don't feel bad. Don't knock yourself down. Don't beat yourself up because you made the decisions you made based on the information that you had.
That's right.
Des and I, Sensible Sundays, we want to make sure that information level is overflowing
Mm-hmm.
because it is important for you to make the best possible decisions ever.
That's right. Just think about it. Every choice you make creates the pattern for the rest of your life. Just when you think on that level, you have to definitely want to make the best choices that you can make.
Mm-hmm. And
Because
not,
one dumb mistake,
yeah,
one bad choice
yeah.
affects your entire life until you leave this earth.
And a lot of times, like we talked about last week, the legacy of credit. It's not, you know, a lot of times it's not just your own life that it affects. It is yours
That's
and
right.
generations to
Your
come.
whole family, like everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody.
right.
Yeah.
And we have to think about that. Your desire, your choice to be a home buyer, and then as Des has, just pounded it in, not just being a one-time home buyer, but then also buying additional properties, going in and getting investment properties. And guys, we're not saying doing it, within 6 months of each other, because you got to settle in.
Right.
But, really doing this helps catapult your children and your children's children. Their thinking changes.
That's right.
It truly, truly changes.
That's right.
And so you've got to be able to do this for yourself and for those around you, you know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Awesome
Well,
stuff.
guys, it's been another Sensible Sundays. I
That's
hope it all
right.
made some sense. I hope it all made some sense to you. That's all we're trying to do. Bring you
Yeah.
some information that's going to help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're going to return again next
Next
Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah,
Next Sunday, it's going to be questions you should ask a credit counselor.
that's right.
Right? So you're going to step in next Sunday with the questions, right, Karina?
That's right. I will be here.
All right. Well, we look forward to it. We'll look forward to seeing you next Sunday. And I hope you guys have a good evening and forward march to a great year. Have an
Absolutely.
inspired evening. That's
Yeah.
my line. Be inspired. Have an inspired day. Have an inspired evening. Have an inspired whatever moment you are in right
Yes.
now. And then act. Act on
Yep.
that inspiration.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Have a good night, guys. Bye.